Hey guys, how y'all doing? I'm here to give you guys a recap on Fate Zero second season, episode 3. Now, this episode right here, now that I rewatched it and looking at it back then, this reminded me a lot of how what I used to be and what I used to think right here. So, if anything else, let's go. We have to it that Kenneth himself is still moving, surprisingly, with a freaking wheelchair at his side. And we have to the Solo Wii, who's very happy that Lancer is fulfilling its mission and is about to get another command seal or something. But only to have a right arm cut off by Maya and knocks her out and telling Kiritsugu that she has Solo Wii, etc. He goes like, okay, get out of there real quick. Lancer should be coming back anytime soon. As for, Kire, he ends up saying Maria Kato and puts him at the freaking Kato house, Mato house or something. I don't know. Whatever the case may be, he left him there. He says like this is really out of treason, but why am I feeling so excited about this? After Kenneth talking to the churchman of the Holy Grail War, after much reluctance and understanding of Kenneth's right to be a master and get the command seal, etc., he gives it to him, and when he walks away, Kenneth shoots him in the back and kills him. And we see to it that Lancer realizes that Solo is missing, along with her freaking arm, right arm, etc. Kenneth really scolds him for being for being very careless, for not keeping an eye on Solo Wii. And we have to it that Lancer realizes that the president is Saber and ends up clashing against her. When they end up clashing against each other, they end up exchanging a couple questions about Solo Wii whatsoever. But whatever the case may be, Lancer on the other hand realizes when he clashes against Saber, her attack is really lacking strength. Saber on the other hand decides to use her right hand alone to face against Lancer. And therefore Lancer was actually very happy about this and gets ready to clash against her once more, and they were actually enjoying their fight right there. While Kenneth is trying to figure out what to do next because of Lancer's disobedience, we have to it that Kiritsugu on the other hand shows up right in front of him with Solau or Solo Hui or something, and he ends up giving him a scroll which is a curse of the Gia, which is a Gia scroll, which involves if you follow these conditions, I promise thee that I will not harm you or intend to harm you in any other way. If you follow these conditions right here, and Kenneth realizes that the condition on the other hand will cost him the Holy Grail War and his honor and everything else altogether. But as much as Kenneth does not like the idea, he ends up accepting it reluctantly and forces Lancer to commit suicide, which is the condition. Lancer, on the other hand, after being forced to stab himself with his own spear, gets really upset about this and curses them all for what they have done. And therefore, he says his last words of "Let the Holy Grail be cursed and bring disaster to whoever wishes upon it. And whenever you fall in the pits of hell, you will remember the rage of Diarmuid alone." And therefore, Kenneth asks Kiritsugu, so the curse binds you now, right? And Kiritsugu says, yes, I cannot harm you or Solo Wii ever again. But there's a loophole in it. He cannot kill or even harm them. He didn't say that it will be his friends or other servants who would do the bidding. And therefore, Kenneth realizes this and gets shot a couple times. After realizing he got shot a couple times, even Solo Wii died, of course. And we see to it that Kenneth asks Kiritsugu to kill him. And Kiritsugu's like, I'm sorry, but our pact forbids me from doing so. And Saber, on the other hand, decides to kill him. And Saber is disgusted with his methods of how he's killing other people. And of course, Kiritsugu has a little small talk with Airi, of course, which she tells him to explain it to Saber because of the actions he did. However, Kiritsugu's like, I have no need to talk to a killer who has this pride, honor, and glory of want to have such things to be committed in war. And Saber really curses him off, saying that you dare insult my chivalry, you monster. And Kiritsugu, on the other hand, says, you know, justice, a knight can't even save the world. You know, there's always these rituals involving like justice and fairness and good and evil on the battlefield, thinking like there's supposed to be some kind of nobility or something needs to be done on the battlefield. But those kinds of illusions is the very reason why a lot of people die because of these things in war. And Saber, on the other hand, tries to back up her claim by saying, even when you take someone's life, you have to have limitations or ideals. Otherwise, everything else will bring every single fires of hell to this world in every war. Kiritsugu tells Saber that war is already hell itself. There's no justice, no freaking righteousness when you're on a freaking battlefield, etc. And in the end, like we just call this as a victory, pain of the crime of the defeated, and there's no hope in this battlefield, and all because of this ideals and so forth is the very reason why things are not being better as it is. And true humanity never stepped up beyond the Stone Age in terms of mentality, and therefore Kiritsugu does not have personal feelings involved with like heroic spirits after Iris asked him a question about Saber being humiliated. And of course Kiritsugu says back that he will like wage the most appropriate weapons to win this war and get the Holy Grail and save the world, etc. I don't even care about these things anyway. But Saber, on the other hand, tells Kiritsugu like saying like, you know, if you do evil to stop evil, that will birth into a new conflict. I do not know what caused you to have so much rage and sorrow, or what you had to go through when you were young, but throughout that rage and sorrow, you were a person who sought only justice and wanted to become a hero. Am I wrong? And therefore Kiritsugu turns back and says like he will end this like ceaseless cycle, and whatever the case may be, he will make sure that the last blood of Fuyuki is shed in this war. If I had to bear every single evil in this world to end everything, I don't care. And he ends up leaving. Iris Field ends up collapsing in Saber's arms after he left, etc. and so forth. Now, I remember a long time ago when I first watched this scene between Saber and Kiritsugu. I mean, like, at first I was kind of on Saber's side on this, but later on, as I grew up and realizing what reality really is, I was on Kiritsugu's side. But later on, as I realized in the end that I can see where both are coming from to try to justify their means, but in the end, they're just like they're just killers to try to like say how things should be done, etc. Kiritsugu, on the other hand, believes this is all for the good of humanity, and Saber, on the other hand, says like this is how we have to have certain limitations. But in the end, neither of these two are right or wrong, as I realize it with other people commenting, etc. about the scene and so forth. But in the end, you know, like they're both just killers trying to justify their means of like trying to like win the war, but they're just killers in the end, staining their hands with their blood, staining blood on their hands and becoming just mass killers. That's all I could really see. That's when I had a realization of it. Made me look into reality a lot. And of course, war never changes. War never ever changes. There is no honor, glory, or battle. There is no honor or glory, etc. In the end, you have to use whatever you have to use to win the war as quick as you can and just get the hell out of there, because that's how it is. I mean, like, looking back on history in USA and throughout the world, that's how war is. Never changes, and we're just spilling out a lot of blood. So, yeah, it was a pretty slick episode that made me look into reality a lot more and realizing, like, how war really, really is. So, until then, I'll see you guys in my next video. So, I'm Alpha Zoro, people. Have a good day, and I'll see you guys next time, right? Peace out. Bye-bye. Toodaloo!